Oh.
Hey, we're recording. That's that traveling whiskey. Yeah. That's that traveling, man.
Yeah. He brought that for us.
Who did that?
JoJo.
That's the stuff right there. Chris Stapleton's whiskey.
You brought the traveler?
Oh, yeah. Bruh. I just got into brown liquor. It is the stuff. And I love Chris Stapleton. So. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm figuring it out.
Well, that's some good stuff.
Oh, the best.
Oh, I'm not going to go that far, but it's really good. I've been into brown liquor for a long time. I've had some pretty good stuff, but that is up there. I like it. That's awesome. I can't wait till Travis never opens it and we never get to drink it.
Hey, we opened the 10-year-old. The Joel Jack Daniels 10-year-old.
Okay.
It's really...
I'm starting to venture out. My mom likes brown liquor. My dad's a gin guy, so I started off like gin and stuff.
My wife likes gin. I hate it.
Oh, what kind of gin does she drink?
Tanqueray.
She typically does drink Tanqueray.
Empress 1908 Canadian Indigo Gin. She'll never go back.
I'll be darned.
She'll never
I
go
won't
back.
tell her about it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I will. I won't.
You can do whatever you want. Hey?
Yeah, hey.
Once you go Canadian, you never go back there.
Break your care in the yard.
If you got a problem with Canadian gooses, you got a problem with me,
I said you let that one marinate.
bud.
I need a drink.
At least it's live. I mean, what we're doing is happening.
That's right.
You know, this is live. This is us.
This Is Us was a TV show, and I liked it a lot. What is wrong with you,
This Is Us.
Travis? Do you have no heart?
I never watched it.
Oh, well, then there's nothing for you not to like.
You're right, sir.
Yeah, this is us.
Listen, Travis.
Listen.
That was it. I just
He
wanted
just
to
wanted to.
make sure you were on
He just wanted to
point.
make sure you're listening. Listen,
Like,
Travis.
Cohen in there.
Bull, can we hang out soon? I know you're busy now with like everything, but it's like if you could schedule me, even if it's months in advance, if we could put something on the books, that'd be cool.
October 5th just opened up.
Marking it on my calendar.
I swear to God it did. October 5th just opened up.
Does Tennessee play that day?
Huh?
Does Tennessee play that day, though?
I don't know.
He does.
Does Tennessee play
He
that day?
doesn't sport.
Oh,
Um,
heard.
He used to.
Now wait a minute. You
Who's
know,
your college team?
Tennessee.
Okay,
we
perfect.
you know we go to the Tennessee games.
Yeah, I know. I was talking about Bull. Is that yours?
The 5th is a Friday, so that Friday night we can hang out.
Yep. Wait, let me make sure I don't got Jane.
Am I reading this right?
You got, are we recording yet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, real
All
quick.
right, cool.
Man, Bull and I are going to hang out on the Friday night, the 5th.
Let me make sure I don't get
Maybe. I mean, it could happen. Hey, man, what are you doing next?
Well, when he figures out what he's doing. we'll
I got
start
Jane
the
that
show.
night.
That's okay, buddy. We'll work it out some other time. We got a show to do.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, my bad, Travis. Take it off.
Hey, it's okay. All right, y'all ready to do this?
Well, we were kind of waiting on you, Travis.
Waiting on me and the Wi-Fi. All right, everybody, welcome to the
Well, it's the next episode.
of the Everyday Joe Show. I'm your host, the Travis Reed. You might have heard of me before.
Not tonight. No.
Nope, not tonight. And I paid my cable bill, by the way.
That's only happened the one time,
The one time.
and it was really a mistake.
It was.
You really paid it twice.
I did, because my bank account wasn't set up like that.
See the way my account was set up.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
Me and you had the same bank.
We do. We do have the same thing.
I mean, it's
and now
weird.
the same job. Tooth, how are you now?
Not so bad, how are you now?
Not so bad. Good and you?
Thank you for asking. I'm once again not so bad.
Okay. What is that?
This is a Dr. Pepper Zero. As you know, I'm trying to do the right thing in life and not die.
On that do better diet?
Doing still better.
Yeah.
Not-
Do better this week than you did last week?
Correct. This was like a start over week
Yeah.
where I'd had the cheat weeks.
Well, and y'all were talking before the show. You had that vacation. You tend to cheat a little bit on the old diet.
And in the grand scheme of things, if I'm being 100% honest with myself and the world, bro, it wasn't like I went back to my old ways on that week.
Right.
It was like I had a couple cheats in between. Like
Fine.
I didn't go back to huge portion sizes. I didn't go back to, engorging myself with a bunch of chocolates and sweets and sugars.
Right.
I just had a few cheats throughout there.
Yeah.
And, I did have some fried foods where I hadn't been having any fried foods. That's it.
I'm proud of
Man.
you.
Vacation happens. I was there twice this summer and got super fat.
There you go.
Good for you.
Man, I've been on
I-
vacation for a long time.
I couldn't tell.
What do you mean?
I mean, I could not tell that you had been on vacation
Oh,
because you look so svelte.
no. That's fluffy. The shirt's a 2X. That's why. I'm just kidding. It's not. And you got some water over there, too, man.
Well,
Flush it
H2O is
out.
good for you,
Yeah.
and this will actually make bottle number 7 today.
Daggone.
That'll be the
Yes,
first time
sir.
I've ever had 7 of these bottles in a day.
That's a lot.
16.9 times 7, what's that math?
7.
Math.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Travis.
Hey, man. What are you doing back there?
Y'all can't afford real tech support. So,
You
I'm
ain't
here.
wrong.
We call
here.
him
What are you drinking?
Yellow.
Man, I am. Thank you, Tooth. I am not like you. I am on the sugars.
But you look better than me already.
Well, I mean, I'm only 3 years in, so it's really hard to say.
I do remember what you looked like when you started, and it looked more like me now
Yeah, I
than it did
mean,
you now.
3 years is a 3 years is a time. You know, it is a space of time. If
So-
you ask Neil deGrasse Tyson,
It's a span of time even.
one would call.
So you on the full throttle?
Yes, sir.
Melody Ellis?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
Lady?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I
Full
am.
throttle!
Yeah, because that's what I've just been so. I've been literally so busy and blowing go. That's what Rebecca was talking.
He just did blah, blah, blah.
He did.
Blow and go. And so, but no, Rebecca, I've been having, I've been getting spells of the sugars, if you will.
You getting that sugar?
Spells
been
of the
getting the
sugars.
sugars.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so I've been trying to balance it out because I like Tooth, except at the end of the night. See, I hate water as well. Have you ever tried it?
No.
Flavorless. So I got the little water packets.
Okay.
Got the little water pockets. And anyway, them things, they got no sugar in them at all. And almost nothing. So I have water with my water packet. So at the end of the night, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll have 5 or 6. And then I'll have about 5 or 6 at night.
Okay.
And so even though it doesn't compensate for the sodas that I drink during
So
the day.
you have a packet of water?
No. I got the little packets.
Flavor packets.
The flavor packets.
Oh, you kept calling them water packets, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
That's not a lot of water.
It's like an MRE.
Yeah, it is. MRD.
That's it. The military has Sunkissed. Exactly.
Oh, I love Sunkist.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for NASA, we wouldn't have Tank.
Yep,
That's right.
100%.
Exactly.
It is the drink of the astronauts.
Tank.
Thanks for being here, sir.
Thank you, Travis.
And for tech support. We couldn't fix that wire. What you got here, Mr. Joe Watson? How are you, sir?
Great. How about yourself?
You're welcome. I just learned your last name a minute ago.
Love it.
I had to cheat.
What did
What?
you
No
say?
problem.
Are you any relation to Randy Watson?
No, but I do know that reference for being 24.
Hey, my man.
That's
Coming
awesome.
to America,
that-
baby.
Yeah.
Flying cultured. Thank you, Dad.
Yeah.
Everybody giving up my boy sexual chocolate.
Yeah,
Making
right.
that boy good.
His dad's probably our age.
Well, yeah.
58. 58.
Oh, he's
Got us back up.
he's got me by a few.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's like 16 years older than me.
yes, he could have been your dad. I mean, technically.
Could have.
What you got to drink?
Water with lemon. I'm a big water with lemon guy.
Yeah.
I also can't stand drinking water. So I got to throw a little lemon or
Well,
lime in it, just like
yeah.
a restaurant, and
That's right.
gives
See,
me the motivation.
I'll tell
to
you
do
what
it.
I tell tea drinkers. If the Lord wanted lemon in water, he'd have put it there to begin with. Okay?
You're killing me. You're killing me, Bull.
Every time they bring me tea, there's a lemon on the side.
And you have a conversation with the Lord. And the Lord saith to Bull, Bull, if I had intended for a lemon to be in that tea, I would have put lemon in the tea bag.
I didn't know the Lord sounded like Bubba from In the Heat of the Night.
He does.
Okay.
Well, if you'll clearly read Lipton's 1012, it states.
Lipton's 10-12. Yes.
Reference.
Good job, sir. I'm gonna write that down.
Get through Corinthians first. I love Corinthians.
Lipton's 10-12. That mountain Valley. That's good water though.
Oh,
Like,
it's good stuff. I love drinking out of glass. No
Yeah.
microplastics, nothing like that. No
Yeah.
government issued, nothing in those bottles. So.
That's right. They ain't putting chips in that, and they ain't
Nope.
getting inside of me.
Nope.
Ain't happening. You also, speaking of drinks, he brought us a little present.
It's good
Traveler
stuff right
whiskey.
there.
Good stuff,
You
man.
ever heard of Chris Stapleton?
I've heard tell of it.
Well, man, I heard tell that's his whiskey.
I've seen him in concert a couple times.
Me too.
It's the traveler. The Traveler.
What happened?
He was doing an ad for it. The Traveler.
I can't wait to hear that
The
thing.
Traveler.
That's gonna be great. That's gonna be awesome.
And on
Man.
your next adventure, step into a bottle of the Traveler.
Yes. Well, man, I appreciate you bringing that whiskey
Yeah,
for us.
absolutely.
We'll definitely.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely get to admire it when Travis holds it above our heads and says, "We'll never open this." Well, at least I get to touch it.
We opened the 10-year-old.
Man, this
I was
is
in the pool.
this is split number 40.
Yeah. Is that gonna be good?
It's 90 proofs, man.
It's gonna be good, isn't it?
He's just waiting on that one day, like when we're old, and he's walking past the shelf and going, like, "Do you remember the night we didn't drink this whiskey? And what about the following weekend when this whiskey wasn't drank either?
Yes.
And do you remember that great time when this whiskey over here was never even opened?"
Is this going to go down at church?
I don't know.
It'll
You
be
gonna be
our
preaching
church.
it?
It'll be my church. That's for sure.
Okay, all right.
I would like to add that this is very important. This is bottled no other than at the Buffalo Trace Distillery in
Sazerac.
Frankfort, Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
So
We know a little somebody that works for Sazerac.
we know some people.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a lady come on. She we went to high school with her, and she works for Sazerac, and she brought Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, a couple different versions of Weller, and Pappy's.
Blanton's.
Blanton.
She's good people.
Yeah.
She's
It-
good
She's
people.
great people.
It was an unopened bottle of Pappy's.
She was the
What year?
first female master distiller at George Dickel.
I've heard stories about her.
Yeah.
My dad, so like I told you guys earlier, my dad loves to collect it. My mom likes bourbon, but my dad will hunt everything down. So sorry if this is like off topic
No,
or anything.
No. He
That's
spoke about her. Please.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so they were like telling me stories about her and watching it on, I think it was called Neat on
Mhm.
Amazon Prime or something.
That's-
She was just all over it.
That's correct.
But about the Pappies, they won a bottle of 24-year in a raffle for, $100 or something. My brother-in-law was with him, and he was like, "Bob, you have to sell that bottle. $5,000, $5.5, like 6 people just coming up to him time after time." And he was like, "Nope." So the night before my sister's wedding, we opened, 12, 15, and 24. Cracked them all open.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
that's awesome.
Wow.
Hold on, it gets better, and my girlfriend's gonna kill me for telling this story on live. But so everyone gets a little bit, and I knew that it was good stuff. So it's just put it on the tongue, get a taste. If you're gonna smell it, you open your mouth, get all the notes and everything. We have a video somewhere. I'd have to pull it up and show you guys, but she just rips it like a sorority
Atta
girl
girl.
shot, and I was like,
Yes.
no shot. Her dad was so upset. He was like, "I have failed you." So that's like one of my favorite things to tell on her.
It's such a good story because Kim has told you her story
Yes.
with being at the Miller convention with her dad. So my wife's dad was a Miller guy.
Okay.
There at a Miller convention. And it was like her first one. She was like a guest or whatever. She was working for him at their distribution center, but it was like her first one. And there's beer everywhere. It's a convention and it's Miller, so there's beer everywhere, and it's not costing anybody anything.
Right.
So they're doing something, whatever, this little room, and she's drinking this beer, and it's time to go to some other thing. And he's got all these, Miller executives with him and around him. And he's like, "All right, we got to go to so-and-so." So she chugs this beer, and everybody's just staring at her. And he was like, "It's free, honey. It's everywhere." I'm a broke college kid, Dad. It's free. So, yeah, it's the same. It's the same. I get it.
It is. We were at Common John one night, and Goody, he had a little, I guess it was like an employee only or sample bottle of some kind of George Dickel, and it had like a weird label on it to say, "This is so-and-so batch from blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah." It's supposed to be like, it's hard to get.
Right.
You can't buy them in stores, obviously. So he's pouring them out, and he pours me one. I didn't pay much attention to it. He just poured it, on a cup, I don't know, that much or so, and I just knocked it back. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, we're taking shots." "You don't shoot this." I was like, "Then pour me more next time." That amount was a shot.
It constitutes shooting.
So that's what I did.
Fair.
It's not my fault I was raised that way.
If you give me a thimble full of anything, I'm not savoring it.
There's nothing
Unless
to
it's
say.
hot pepper. I might be like,
Yeah.
Right.
dip a little bit in your pinky. Well, I myself, I'm not there. I'm not having beer tonight.
Which is why I was going to ask you, why aren't you having a beer?
Well, what happened was I got that real job during the day now, so I'm not always at the brewery on Thursdays, and so I forgot to get beer.
You didn't make time to pick up beer, forgot about it. So what are you drinking?
Man, I got the Diet Dr. Pepper.
They say it tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper, but I don't know what they're comparing that to. Like
Yeah.
more like regular Dr. Pepper than what? Than wood chips or than like
Coca-Cola.
excrement? Yeah, it tastes more like Dr. Pepper than like Orange Sunkist.
Yes.
But it
does.
doesn't taste more like Dr. Pepper than Dr. Pepper Zero.
Why are they not paying you?
I don't know, bro. I've been on you guys to help me figure out how to get Dr. Pepper to pay attention to me.
We've been thinking about it.
You're a
I
missed
now-
marketing opportunity.
No, well, that's what I now want to go in the store and see Diet Dr. Pepper. Right below it says, not sun-kissed.
That's a shirt.
I want to see that. I
Well,
want to see that now.
we're 350 episodes in, and he's talked about Dr. Pepper at least 348 of them.
I would say that's probably accurate. Even the weeks that I did not bring a Dr. Pepper on the show,
It
which
was still spoken.
I still spoke about Dr. Yeah, tonight not having a Dr. Pepper this evening. No, still can't get him to pay me. But tonight I'm having a cherry sun dropper. Whatever it might have been. But most of the time it's Dr. Pepper. bro.
Where's it from?
Plano, Texas. That's where they bottle it. Right there in Plano, Texas.
I mean-
Established in 1883, man.
Watch this. How many
35.
flavors does it have?
23 flavors says on the can.
It does. So you
Except
cheat.
for Dr. Pepper Zero.
It don't.
It doesn't say anything
got
about
22
the
and a
flavors.
half,
I
don't
think
it?
there's a lesser flavor.
So it's just
But
22.
it was still established in 1885.
In,
All of the other flavors that were there in 1885. They just left the other one out.
So if I have sports trivia one night, I'm calling you. But if I have soda trivia night,
Yeah, especially if it's about Dr. Pepper or soda jerks at the soda fountain. That's where we got the soda jerk title because they would jerk the fountain to. See, yeah, I'm the guy.
see, I'm over here going, what are you
I'm in.
talking about?
I'm in.
Yeah, that's us. That's what we
Or
do.
the moon. He knows about the moon.
I
He
really
does.
like space and astronomy and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I like things
Plane
like
wrecks.
that.
He likes plane wrecks.
I do like to. I don't like the fact that they wreck.
I
I
should've
like the
worded that wrong.
science behind why they wreck.
okay.
Why do we have plane crashes? What cause? I like that, but I don't like the fact that they wreck because I kind of like to fly in them. But
Yeah.
I'm absolutely enamored with aviation and astronomy, and it's just really cool.
It is. It is. Sweet. Yeah.
You know what else I'm enamored with?
What?
More recently than forever, but fitness.
Yeah.
Love that.
I'm really kind of getting more and more into fitness, and I hear that we have somebody who knows something about it.
Perfect guy right here.
Segue,
We're going.
Maybe
Segue alert.
maybe one or two things.
Segue alert.
And we're going to find out about that when we come back from the old break.
Yeah, I'm good at this.
Look at you.
Golly.
Where's my segment about fitting this cigarette out there on my lip?
Well, it'll be right outside. We'll video it. I'll
Okay.
come with you.
Well, I'm about to say that's a whole segment.
That is a whole segment.
It is.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk to not the everyday Joes stretching, but the average Joes. When you talk about copyright stuff on this here, sir.
All right.
I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about some stretching and some fitness, and we're going to hear the story, how you got to where you're at now.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck. Don't want to do that. They cut them out every time. And I think they're funny. I do a little quack at the end. He goes quack, quack, and I go, we think it's funny. They
That
cut
was
it out.
pretty good. I
I've
mean,
stopped.
you can't really.
I've stopped doing it.
Yeah, he's boycotted it. I went back to listen. I was listening to the radio the other night, and I'm like, where's my quack at? Where's Two's quack
I
at?
usually go quack, quack, quack.
They quit.
Yeah. No clue why that would get edited out, huh, Joe? No. It's a big old mystery.
I like it. It sounded authentic.
Quack, quack, quack. Sounds pretty good for where I'm sitting.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck, episode Chevrolet Small Block
350.
Tooth. We got Bull back drinking his mellow yellow.
But that's how much the Loch Ness Monster stole. It was 350.
350.
Sometimes you need tree fitting.
What are you doing there, Loch Ness Monster? Oh, you need about 350.
I need to borrow about 350.
Tree fitting. We got Mr. Joe Watson, me, the Travis Reed. So, Average Joe stretching.
Yes,
I
sir.
like it. I
Yes,
saw
sir.
it and I was like, seen the Average Joe and I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's mine. Because a lot of people like that just know we're on a show. They know the Joe's part of the show. They'll call, yeah, you on that Average Joe show?
They say it all the time.
Like, no.
Shows how really committed to the fanship they really are.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
You're
now you
on
can just
that-
send them my way.
Joe show, man, you've been stretching.
You've been scratching. So, where are you from originally?
Right outside of Knoxville, a little town called Maryville, Tennessee. Not so
Maryville.
little anymore. So
Yeah,
it's
no, definitely
exploding.
Absolutely, man. Pretty part of the state, though.
Oh, love it
For sure.
Love it.
Yeah, man. Big Vols fan?
Huge.
Attaboy.
Yeah, love it.
Attaboy. Go Big Orange. You see where they're talking about maybe putting a third deck?
You know, I wish they would stop with the whole renovation thing.
Yeah.
And get a good smoky gray. Like the shoulder pads and everything that they got coming up, it's just like a little too much.
I got you.
But I don't know. I mean, it'll be cool. Add more seats, more fans. It's nothing like Neyland Stadium.
I promise you this: if they do add that third deck, I'm not sitting up there. I ain't walking. I ain't doing it.
Nope.
They better have elevator.
No.
No. I put my coaster down. I'm not doing it.
Did you write it in your book?
So it is written, so it is done.
There we go.
Travis will not be attending the third floor unless there's an elevator.
That's right. That's right. High school, we play a bunch of sports.
Played football until my junior year, baseball all the way through high school, and then played at a small school in Bristol called King University.
Oh, really? What was
yeah.
this? What was this? You played?
Pitcher.
Pitcher?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't have a great college career. Couldn't
Right.
throw a lot of strikes.
Yeah.
So
That was me in Little League.
Travis has been catcher most of his life. He likes to catch.
I hate it here. I absolutely hate it here. Bull was a good pitcher in high school. He had a slider that would make you run and pee your panties.
Yeah,
Go
that 32-inch break.
all right.
It was insane. Like, you get mad at the umpire, like, there's no way that's strike. I'm like, yeah, it was a strike.
He dropped over.
No, it was stupid. I hated him for it. We were friends, but not on that day.
He was, listen, this close. So the day the scouts were there and that Bull would have been sent right up to the majors,
Yeah.
Bull had a terrible, terrible, terrible bout of diarrhea from some Taco Bell the night before. This was right when the chicken quesadilla had first came out. And he had a 7-layer bean burrito and a chicken quesadilla. And the next day, he was out of the game. And sure enough, probably missed his opportunity to go pro. Also, the stuff I've been... Good stuff.
Pretty spot on there. if you would have brought up Tisha from the Texaco, you almost had the whole story there.
Well, I was trying to protect the innocent.
Oh, okay. All right. Change the names of the innocent.
Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Well done, sir.
Yeah,
Well done.
good job, Tooth. So, pitcher, what was your out pitch?
Slider.
Slider?
For sure. Yeah. It used to be. It was weird. I would try to throw a curveball, but then it would always be true slider. Try to cutter, it'd be a two-seam. Also had just a natural two-seam. I could hold it as a four-seam, and it'd just be a sinker, and then I could hold it as a two-seam, and it'd be just bust in every single time.
What was your
So
fastball?
The highest I ever got it up to was actually summer of 2020. Came back after training in Florida for a couple months and was throwing like 91, 92.
That's fast to me.
So I always have to ask this to people who throw a slider. So was it by accident? Did you learn it by accident?
100%.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
'cause
all right. That's how most people learn a good slider is by accident.
Yeah,
Like
so-
90% of them, man.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
My dad wouldn't let me pitch until probably sophomore year of high school, and so I was always fastball changeup,
Right.
just because the pandemic of Tommy John surgery was so prevalent at the time. He was like, I'm not letting you snap off a curveball or a slider until you're 16.
Hold on. Did you just say the Tommy John pandemic?
Yeah.
So that's who done both my knees.
Tommy John.
Tommy John?
Dr. Tommy John in
Oh, really?
Oh,
he
no,
was one of the most infamous, like he was.
well, Tommy John surgery is named after the pitcher who played for the Yankees named Tommy John.
Shut up. I did not even know about that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, yeah. Tommy John was the orthopedic in Murfreesboro that did all of the athletes in
Well, I know
Middle
who I'm
Tennessee.
going to if I ever need a knee replacement.
Well,
Tommy
no,
John.
I mean,
Absolutely.
He's now
Dave.
98. So
I'll still go.
He's not even scared.
I trust him.
Yeah.
I trust him.
Yeah.
No, but had a coach. He was like, "Hey, man, we're gonna teach you a curveball," and tried unbelievably hard to keep getting my hand over it. Every single time, it would just slider, and finally they were just like, "We give up. Just throw the slider," and it just became my wipeout pitch, and stuck with it.
yeah,
My curveball was a fastball with a spin. That's all it was. Yeah. So did the hitters. They
I
really.
used to be a hitter in high school. I loved those pitchers.
Yes, you'd have loved me until I threw the knuckleball.
Oh,
And you're like, oh, where's that going? Oh, that's ball 4? Okay, we'll take it base. Yes. But,
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna sport for a minute. Is that okay? The law ball pitcher coming back onto the scene is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I absolutely love watching going from the 40-mile-per-hour lob
The little
to right to the
the
90.
The little
Nice.
Ephus pitch, yeah. I like when position players are starting to get in there, and I guess they want to pull a Jose Canseco and rip their elbow like he did back in the day, and they'll throw a little Ephus pitch, and I like it when they hit with they throw in, the batter gets hit by one of those pitches, and they just kind of crumble to the ground. Like Travis Darno, that plays for the catcher for the Braves, did that. And,
Didn't LeBron James start that whole?
yeah, flop. Yeah, no, I think that was Ronaldo in soccer. That's
I
where
knew
they
I
got
liked
it.
coming out here.
Yeah, and then Rizzo struck out Freddie Freeman. That had to be embarrassing because I like big buddies. Like, that would be
Was he still with the Braves when that happened, or was he already in L.A.?
He was with the Braves when
Okay.
that happened. Yeah, so it's been several years.
Rizzo's not a pitcher,
I know.
and he struck some guy. That's
Yeah.
funny. That's
Oh yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was
It was
awesome.
great. I think Freddie like swung out of his cleats. He's like laying on the ground, and he starts laughing, and Rizzo's laughing, and everybody's laughing. It was a good time.
Have you ever seen a better batter's stance than Rizzo's? Like, he dry humps the air right before, all the way until right before he's going to swing. Like, I've never had a better impression of a batter in the box than Rizzo. He comes in straight, gets that bat up.
He's getting these haunches settled. Getting his haunches
What is he
settled.
doing? What is this? What is this rhythm he's got?
Getting settled in. So,
It's unsettling.
College, what we major in?
Exercise science with a minor in kinesiology, and then I actually went back for my 5th year. I had a red shirt, and I had the COVID year, and
Right.
got my MBA.
Oh,
Yeah.
You were in there, so you were in school about 2002. That's when Kinesi was there. She
I thought he
had
said
so much
telekinesis, Kyle. I'm pretty,
potential. Oh, is that what it was?
pretty sure he can move things with his mind.
yeah, bull. That's what that
My
meant.
bad. My bad. Sorry.
Are you
How
listening?
does one pick those subjects?
Majors, yeah.
So I guess here's kind of where the story starts. So I definitely grew up the fat friend.
Right.
Super unathletic, slow.
Some of us still are.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It happens.
But so just kind of worked my way through high school. Found a trainer out in Knoxville that I really clicked with, who totally changed my athletic career,
Right.
and lost probably. He put me on with his wife at the time, and she was a nutritionist, so I just fell right into it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go from being, can't run down the field without an oxygen tank to I want to be the best player on the field. So started training with him. I think the end of the fall, my freshman year of high school, came back in baseball season, and we were in a scrimmage, got on, stole a couple bags, and they were like, who is this kid? So I had my buddy's parents coming up, and they're like, where have you been? And I told them, I was like, there's a reason I haven't been hanging out with everybody. Like, I've been waking up at 4:30 every morning.
Jeez.
So just kind of from there, wrote the story, became a little bit of a health freak, always have loved just like the natural stuff. Like, we had a spring behind our house that I would go to once or twice a week, fill up a water bottle, and just like carry that around for as long as I could. Went off to
You
college.
definitely can't stop with got up at 4:30, because I get up at 4:30 and I could. You too could look like this.
I don't do that too much anymore.
Yeah, he gets up at the exact same time as Mark Wahlberg. Okay.
And look at me. I'm bragging about losing 20 pounds and I'm still fat. That, sir, is
We're on
an
the right track,
accomplishment.
though. On the right track.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were saying.
No, all good. So yeah, just kind of fell in love with working out and being healthy. Even to this day, I want to live till I'm 120. Like, that is the goal, is to just fall asleep one night when I'm 120 years old and not wake up and call it a life.
You're
Joe
like
Van Winkle over here.
he's like Rob Lowe's character in Parks and Recreation. Exactly what it is.
But yeah, I mean, it was just the right path. And then
120 is very specific. Like, I want to know how you got to that number later on in the show. It's a specific number.
It's a random choice, and it was a great choice.
I feel like
Was it
100,
total random?
I feel like a lot of people would say 100 if they want to live for a long time.
Right.
So
So you're a 20%er above her of her.
I think it's amazing because I think the people that live to 100 that live to I want to word this very carefully. The people that live to be 100 years old and some that live to be more than that are still able-bodied.
it's wild.
Those people, which are very few, I think, in the grand scheme of things, are the ones that will tell you 100 doesn't seem that long once you get there. Like, for me and you, 100's a long time. But, dude, when I was your age, I thought 42 was a long way away. So, yeah. But now, for most people, once they start, not being able-bodied, they're like, yeah, I'm old, it's time to go.
Lord take me.
I've heard a lot of them. Like, I'm just ready. If tomorrow doesn't come, it'll be a good day.
You know that guy too. Yeah,
I know him.
you do. So woke up one day and was like, nope, done with this. Not gonna be that guy.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it just a light switch clicked and came onto my head, and I was just like, you know what? It's time to not be the guy that just like sits on the couch all day and can't make the high school baseball team, like not gonna play on the football team. So
I feel attacked.
light bulb went off, and I just kind of flipped the script right there. And then when I got to college, it was just the evident choice that I needed to be in there so that I could eventually use my story to inspire high school, middle school, or some type of athlete. So yeah, that's kind of where the whole journey started.
You said something a little earlier about, getting started and more or less but making it a habit. You just fell into it and it became your routine. That's what you said. And I've noticed a lot of people that have shared stories similar to yours, as far as a health change in their life, a lifestyle change in the capacity of health, will speak on the way it makes you feel once you start and it becomes that habit for you. Like, it's an endorphin, it's a whole body high. Like the runner's high. It's the same for the people who are working out and doing the exercising and the stretching, and you get that same kind of feeling, so it kind of motivates you, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you just, again, get into that routine, and then you just can't be stopped. It's all about consistency, and when you have consistency, it kills. Just like speed kills, consistency kills 20 times more.
I think about that, but I got a lot of quit in me.
You consistently quit.
I'll just walk away. I don't care.
You're the most consistent quitter I know of.
I don't know. I'm just, everybody's like, bet on me, bet on me.
Hey, don't bet on me.
Don't bet
dog.
on me, dog. You're gonna lose. Not really, but man, that's good. And how old were you when you started in your mindset just changed? How old were you?
I was probably 14 or 15 when that started.
Okay, to be a 14-year-old kid and just decide, you know what, done with this. That's kind of rare. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I mean, there are some that do it, but still, for you to keep that going for I mean, you're 10 years in, but you're 14 at the time.
Right.
A lot of stuff. Oh man, I can play some PlayStation tomorrow.
Bring in the porn and the mac and cheese.
Yes. Could have been doing that, like we were.
You could have such been that guy. You could have been that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't turn out that bad. Look at me.
But out of curiosity, we talk about our age. They talk about a lot of how negative effects of people showing them going to the gym and, the body lifestyle and all these different things, all the new diets or trends or whatever.
Right.
But, I mean, that was really beginning to take hold when you were that age. So you could easily go to YouTube and get inspired and see that I can turn myself around in 90 days.
Yeah.
Like, we only got that inspiration at 2:30 in the morning when the PX90 infomercial comes on.
Right.
You could watch it at 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely.
We watched the guy on the Gazelle tell
Yeah,
us.
Tony Little.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, Tony Little. Yeah, which was not an inspiration to a lot of us, you know.
Yeah.
But did that help any? I mean, like, out of curiosity.
Honestly, no. My parents growing up, like, we were never the iPad or like.
Oh,
the,
shut up!
we were-
Oh God, I'm leaving.
We were never the iPad kids.
Oh,
Like
one
they
of
never.
those kids.
They would never hand us their phones. Like we were always very social, very interactive with
Right.
adults and conversations like that. So social media for me growing up was never really a problem.
Right.
I was always outside and everything, but I don't really know the day that the light bulb came on,
Yeah.
but it just was like kind of a turn of events when I was just like, I'm tired of not being able to, or like I'm scared to not make the high school baseball team. I'm not
Right.
playing in the same teams as my friends are because they're significantly better than me. So I was just like, you know what? It's time to turn it around.
Well, kudos for you for being that young. I'm like, no, I'm done. This is gonna happen.
Being that young and having the ability to exhibit the discipline that it takes to do what you've done. Discipline is something that for a lot of people I feel naturally comes with age. So that with Travis, kudos to you for having that kind of discipline at such an early age. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you.
your parents like, all right, let's do it, or you
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like even now doing this, like, and I know that we'll get into the story of starting Average Joe's later and everything, but my parents are by far like the most supportive people I have around me, and like just love me unconditionally, and they're great.
That's awesome to have that good support system like that,
Oh,
for sure.
totally.
Especially when you do, the venture that you're doing now, which we're going to talk about when we come back from break. Going to do a little stretching.
Let's do it.
I'm going to get on this table, and he's going to stretch my hand. No, I'm just kidding.
We could. I'll do
I
it.
will. My legs will snap.
No.
Hide and watch. And we got a Common John update a little bit later. We'll have some lunchtime theater. Music of the week from Tooth. A little bit of Travis talk. And we might have a couple burning questions for old Joe over here. You're listening to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck. All right, guys, welcome back to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck, episode 350. That's Tooth. That's Bull over there somewhere. That's Mr. Joe
I
Watson.
had to leave.
You did? You got
I
tired?
needed-
You got
I
tired
needed
of
to go,
Joe?
Bull.
I needed a minute.
You needed a minute?
All right.
We only read the book and we played with sticks growing up. My God.
I'm me, the Travis Reed. So now that Bull is mad at Joe. What?
Let's
The
further.
audacity. The audacity.
The audacity of this
You
gentleman.
know, where are you guys getting your audacity these days?
Thank you. Thank you.
They're full of it.
They're full of these audacity.
They are.
Where are y'all picking up y'all's audacity?
It's on sale at the Kmart's. Wait, they're out of business. That's why. Because they put their audacity.
The audacity.
The
They
audacity.
got quit in them. They got
Yeah,
quit
they
in 'em.
got. Sounds like I ran that place.
He's got a lot of quit in him.
He does.
Listen, on the opposite note, guess who doesn't have a lot of quit in him?
You,
Average Joe.
average Joe. He don't.
I'm kind of curious to hear. I really want to know. Is Average Joe? Because I thought that it was a dodgeball team that won a dodgeball championship against Globo Gym.
You dodge wrenching, dodge a ball.
So I'm curious to know and learn about the Average Joe organization, corp company, whatever it is. I want to know. So teach me.
Don't
Joe.
look at me. You teach us, Joe. How'd that all come about? What's the genesis of that?
So I'd be lying if I said that was not an inspiration for the name. Totally was. It's all-time favorite movie. Like, it's hilarious.
It is. I think it still holds up with the hilarity of it.
Hold on. Did he just nail it?
Nailed it like Jesus the Carpenter.
Back again. Lipton's 1014. Continue.
10-14. I write that down.
But so I think it was 2020, I met my stretch therapist that I would work with in the off seasons back in Knoxville. His name's Trace Pate. He's a great mentor to me, great friend of mine now. So started working with him after just a little bit of training at home, and then I actually went back up to school one fall and had pulled my hamstring majorly on the lake. Was just being an idiot, trying to sit on a tube too long, flew up in the air. It was like a grade 2 or 3 tear, or not tear, strain. So went and saw him. Usually the recovery process for that is pretty extensive. Hamstrings are very, very hard to get back from. I was back in like a month and a half maybe. So then that spring rolls around, and I like had worked with Trace for a very long time at this point, but didn't really know the extent of what fascia stretch therapy actually was. So we go back for winter ball preseason, going into the spring, and just throwing a ton inside with no heating and air. Then we would go outside, do pitcher's fielding practice, long tossing and everything. So just a lot of excessive throwing to get ready for the year. So I actually strained my lat and called him and was like, hey, if I can work with you Saturday, Sunday, like this is going to be huge for me. He was like, absolutely. This was also after working 10 or 11 weeks in physical therapy with some of my athletic trainers. Went and got a second opinion. They were like, it was already misdiagnosed. So I told my coaches, I was like, listen, I just need 1 weekend to go back and work with my stretch guy in Knoxville. And I promise if I'm not back in 3 weeks, like I'll go back to the trainers and we'll do the thing. And they're like, all right, sounds good. Like, you know, can't do anything in practice anyways. You're a bump on a log. So went back, worked with them for an hour on Saturday, an hour on Sunday, and went to practice on Monday. And my coaches were like, what did you just do? Got back on the mound and was throwing like I had never left.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. So that's when I really bought into it.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, it's wild what this stuff can do. And the lady that created it, her name's Ann Frederick.
No, everybody knows Miyagi-Do created it. We've all seen it.
We watch Karate Kid. We know.
We know. Okinawa. They live to be 120 as well.
That's why I'm trying to do. I'm wanting to go over to Japan
circle,
and do
sir.
it.
Full circle.
Mr. Joe Agi.
So she actually created fascia stretch therapy when she was a student at Arizona State, and
Sun Devils.
she's been a dancer her entire life. So
Oof, that's some hardcore stuff there.
yeah, and like has always been professional. And she's amazing. Like even to this day, I don't know exactly how old she is, but like she's hilarious and a great dancer. Like she always dances when we're in class. So she was also teaching while she was doing her undergrad at ASU, and one day just strapped a football player's leg down to a weight bench, started stretching him, and she was like, I think I found something. And so created fascia stretch therapy, has done cadaver studies, the whole nine with trying to get this stuff figured out, and it 100% works.
Wow.
Hold on, wait. So she strapped a young man to a bench.
Yep. Yeah, took a weight
And
belt.
she was like, ah.
Yeah, and Miss Ann, if you're watching this, I probably botched the story, but I'll fix it eventually. But yeah, she's maybe 5'5", 5'6", and she's worked with guys like Mike Tyson. She's worked throughout the NFL.
Wow.
She got her start with the Olympic wrestling team in the 90s. So like she's worked on anybody that is anybody that's an athlete.
Well, she's probably Kurt Angle then. Huh? After that. That's the little bitty woman stretching these guys, man.
And she can throw them around like a rag doll. It is impressive how well she moves these huge guys.
So that inspired you to do your own deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I actually moved out here to Nashville after I finished up at King, so I just graduated with my MBA. 23-year-old getting into the real world is hard. And I mean, life just grabs you by the hair the very first day and just drags you
Oh,
along.
yeah. Yep.
So started in a sales job. And after 2 months, I was like, this is not it. So funny enough, the day that I decided to up and quit my job with not really a huge plan, I'd hurt my neck sitting at a desk. Someone had asked me a question. I turned around, felt a huge pop, got nauseous, tears in my eyes, all the stuff. So I actually called another practitioner in Nashville, and I was like, can you please, God, get me in? Because I know it's the only thing that is going to work for me.
Right.
Went and saw her, had a wedding the next day, literally was like in a suit and tie when I went and saw her, stretched my neck, drove to the wedding in Franklin, all good.
Good to go.
Yeah. So from that day until probably 2 or 3 weeks later, I was like, I'm going to up and quit my job at 23 years old with no official plan and figure it out from there.
Man, you just got cojones of steel, son. I'm telling you.
Toughens.
Yeah,
Toughens.
I mean, so first at 14, you decide, yep, not being the fat kid anymore. Now at 23, I'm going to quit my job.
Screw the rat race. I'm going to do something. I'll figure it out.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm going to start stretching folks.
Yeah.
And how's I guess where do you do it at? How do you do it? Kind of that deal. I don't know how to word it. I'm like, well, talk to me about it.
So
Yeah.
when you grab a man, is it from behind? Is it from the side? Do you caress? Like,
All of
They
it.
probably shake his
all-
hand.
all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. All right.
You
Yeah.
take charge for a stretch and let us know what is stretching is about.
Yeah, yeah, because we're off the rails over here. Yeah, so like, who do you work with?
The everyday average Joe. So, I mean, and athletes, I mean, really anybody. Like, it's made for anybody. Just kind of like chiropractics. Like,
Right.
everyone needs to be healthy. Everyone wants to get healthy. Nobody wants pain. So, I work with the everyday average Joe. I worked with guys in the NFL, worked with professional boxers. I actually have one boxer that's got a professional fight next weekend on the 31st in California. So, yeah, just kind of built a clientele when I got back from Arizona after getting certified, and kind of have figured it out from there and still moving forward.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, so was that sort of one of your missions? Because as you can tell, even amongst a group of eclectics like you're surrounded with now, was it important to you to teach normal people about the importance of this stretching and things of that nature? Because, chiropractors are still somewhat as voodoo on the wrong dirt road.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the dream for me, especially being a kid that grew up in so many different sports, the dream was always professional baseball.
Okay,
Whether that was playing in it, working in it, front office, or, what I do now. Like, if the Brewers would hire me on right now, even though they're my least favorite team, that's for after the show, though.
Yeah,
We'll edit that out.
Brewers suck.
I would 100% go work for the Sounds right now and work with their whole team every single day of the season if I could. So just being around athletes in any capacity has always been a dream of mine. But I also knew that when I wasn't going to play, that I was also going to become an average Joe. And I was like, everyone wants to feel good. My mom's a dentist. My dad works for UPS. So, like, two very opposite ends of the spectrum. And they are always banged up. I mean, my mom has to stay hunched over in
Yeah.
a chair all day.
Hey,
Dad's
don't-
doing manual labor.
Yeah, UPS job. Like, yeah, that ain't no joke. Where you have
Yeah.
several friends that work for it, and it's wow.
Yeah, it's why. I mean, my dad's on when he cover drives. He's part time. Loves the insurance.
Yeah. Oh,
Why
yeah.
wouldn't you?
Oh yeah,
Why
absolutely.
wouldn't you? So I mean, yeah. Like every time I'm home, they're like, "Can I please get an hour?" And then 2 hours later, "Can I please get another hour?" So and I love working on my parents. It's also a great way to like show love to like my family and friends when I get to be around them.
Right.
So it's been great.
So everybody in this room at one time worked out, did walking, running, riding bikes, power lifted. I'm not saying this disparagingly about the guy that trained me when I was doing the powerlifting. It's like when we first started, I was like, "Hey man, when you stretch first?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, sure." And I'm like, well, "You don't stretch," because I always, when you ever did any kind of sport, you stretched every
Right.
time, whether it's walking, running, football, baseball, basketball, track, whatever. It was always stretch. And to me, it wasn't that important. I'm like, look, I want to still be limber, not pull something. What's the importance of just everyday stretching?
I mean, immense. Like that's the basis of everything. I mean, just like you said, like you want to stretch before a workout so you don't tear anything, because you're already tense, and then you're just gonna go tense it up even more.
Right.
Like you have to get that stuff loose before you start going. And I mean, like even for people that are a little bit more sedentary, or people that just like don't lift but are still active,
Right.
stretching's huge. I mean, just to feel open and creating space. Everyone gets a tight neck. I mean, especially with these things right here, like all of
Never.
us are always head down.
Right.
So the majority of the people that I see are lower back pain and neck issues.
Yeah, it's-
I mean, every single day.
You take Bull hunch over computer all day, for the most part.
Fair.
Tooth
than
and
fair.
I, we are on our feet how many steps we've already taken a day? 10,000. Hunched over or standing up with a computer in front
Right.
of us.
Concrete floor.
Concrete floor. I drive about 45 minutes right now, and when I get home, I look like an old man getting out of the car. I'm just like, oh, and I've had, and the same with Bull, knee surgeries. I've had 2 knee surgeries, neck surgery. So I'm just all, oh, God, getting out. Is just for like us, we're everyday Joes, average Joes in your case. Would stretching help us in the morning or in the afternoon when we get home, or?
I stretch every morning.
Do you? I don't. I'm in a hurry to get out the door, so I'm not late.
When I say I don't, I don't spend an hour stretching, but typically before I get in the shower, I like to do one of these
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and get as tight and as tall as I can and stretch it out. Usually there's a little pop between the shoulder blades.
Right.
And then when I get out of the shower, I typically like to do a long stretch with my legs as I'm drying off.
Yeah.
But I'll
Get them
kinda
hammies.
stand spread
Yeah.
so that I get a nice stretch. And then before I leave, the last thing I do before I leave the house is like in my garage room that you've been to. There's a pull-up bar, and I can do 2 pull-ups, but
Right.
I like to hang from
One more than I can do.
I like to hang from it. It's a good stretch
Yeah.
for my upper body.
Yeah.
It gets like in my rib cage area and my upper back. So, truthfully, when my back goes out, which I have an injury, yes, I'm like an old man. But outside of that, when I wake up in the morning, I come out of the bed. When I get out of the car, I come out of the car. I mean,
Oh, dude, it's bad.
I'm
Like,
lucky. I'm lucky. I know.
The kids make fun of me while I walk inside. I'm all hunting, like, dude, oh man, what is going on with you? Like, I don't know, turning into concrete here. So, what, in your expert opinion, what is a good?
I'm sorry. Can I ask him something?
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things, and again, I read all about, but like Tu said, hanging. Whenever I first started my fitness journey
Right.
2 years ago, again in my 40s, and like everybody else, I worked out when I was younger. But
Right.
when you're older, plus 40 is a completely different working out. Period. You're relearning the body. It's all different now.
Yeah.
But hanging, like that's like there's 2 things that everybody I read, whether it's Huberman or all those other guys, I really love listening to those guys. But it's 2 things. It's about your ability to hang, and it's about your ability to get up off the ground.
Totally.
So what is it about, like Tu says, the hanging and the importance of it?
Yeah.
Like I know it makes me feel better and all that, but what is it about that full body stretch and it's not realigning or anything, is it? What is it about that hanging?
I mean, there's probably some realigning that goes on in there, but getting up off the ground and hanging, it's an instinct. I mean, think about babies, like it's a natural instinct that if you grab a baby's hand, or like put your finger in between their hand, they're just going to latch onto it. Human instinct. Same thing with getting up off the ground. I mean, like, they crawl for, I don't know, I don't have any kids, but like they crawl for the first year of their life, and then they just naturally get up.
Right.
So it's just same thing with like athletics and everything. The best athletes you see ever are obviously professional athletes, but also kids. They just have the right movements. Why? Because nobody's messed them up. So especially like when you're hurting stuff, if you can backtrack or regress everything and just be like, how simple can I make things? You're going to feel 100% better.
Okay.
And it's all right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because that's one of the things I always pay attention to. I know for a fact that I'm slacking big time whenever my knee begins to hurt, or my lower back, because that's one of the things I always do is
Right.
stretch, exercise my lower back.
Right.
A lot of high reps things, and then walk backwards. A lot of
Huge.
farmer walks.
I cannot tell you how many people not diagnose, what's the word? Prescribe.
Yep.
Walk backwards.
Walking backwards is
Heard that.
You'll look like a fool if you're not doing it on a treadmill, but like you'll go home and feel like a superhuman.
no,
Really?
Yeah,
Walking backwards.
If I don't, I started doing it 2 years ago, and that's how my cool down period on the treadmill is that 5 minutes. It's on a 3 to a 5% incline at about 2.2 miles per hour walking backwards. That's
Yeah.
how I end my walks.
100%.
Why? And nobody's ever told me this.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. And then another thing, so I'll kind of get into the stretching part of it too. So stretching is so misconstrued to everyone that stretching should hurt or pain is gain. Now in the weight room, I'm completely okay with that. Like
Yeah.
hypertrophy and everything, you have to feel that pump in order to get large muscles and stuff. But what I'm actually trying to do to people when I'm working with them is stretch the stuff called fascia. So like in a steak, you know, like when you have like that really fatty part and then like all the red meat, but it's all that stuff you don't want right in the middle that's really wiry.
Right.
That's fascia. So what I'm trying to do is get that stuff to relax. And if I'm trying to yank on it or putting it in a position where it's pinchy or nervy or anything like that, all it's going to do is tense back up and start to freak out even more. So when I'm stretching people, I actually try to get them as relaxed and in a huge, comfortable environment as I can, or even try to distract them just by like talking or doing a stretch over here while I'm actually working out the thing over here to get everything to just chill out and not realize that it doesn't need to like hurt.
Tricking them.
Yeah, 100%.
You're tricking them.
Oh yeah.
Man, and it sounds like it works.
Oh yeah, all the time. I actually had a client that I worked with yesterday and Monday, and I usually see her once a week for about 30 minutes, but she called me or texted me like Sunday night at like 3 a.m. So I woke up at 6 and was like, why do I have a text from you at 3 a.m.? And she was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what I've done to my back, but I cannot roll out of bed. So she walks in hunched over like the old guy from Up, and I was like, okay, we are in rough shape today. Good thing to, like, you know, starting at ground zero, let's just get a little bit better today.
Right.
Worked with her. She texted me that night and she was like, okay, like, you know, still kind of hurts to like toss and turn when I'm asleep and everything, wakes me up. She was like, but I can walk better. I'm standing up a little bit better. She texted me this morning and she was like, oh my God, I can stand up with no pain. I'm like, I feel like I'm not going to hurt on the flight that I have this weekend. So she was like, thank you so much.
So that was one 30-minute session with it.
Two 30-minute
30-minute
sessions this
sessions.
week. But I have had a lot of other people that, you know, I work with for an hour and they'll text me and be like, that's the best sleep I've ever had. Or
Jeez.
this is the best I've ever felt. I can feel my hips again. I can feel my feet again. It's crazy some of the things that I've seen.
Wow. That is witchcraft. That's what it is. It's very interesting, though. Like it, because when I read the Bible, like stretching, and then I kind of read on, like, oh, makes sense because from us playing sport, like I said earlier, we all stretched. You had to stretch, and you always, like, especially the hamstrings. I always like stretching the hamstrings. You feel that little. To me, you feel that little burn going. You're like, oh, there it burns.
So that's what we don't want.
No,
No.
but it
No
always
burn.
felt kind of good afterwards.
I don't know. I hate the burn. Like, I just stretch until it's comfortable and cool.
Yeah.
I like. I like
Usually the
little
doctor
burn.
prescribes medicine for the burn, I thought.
It didn't work last time.
Good.
that
Good. Or
banana.
a hammer.
It's that
A
banana.
hammer up until the late 90s.
Yeah,
Hammer.
and now it's the
Yeah.
banana drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard tell about it.
Well, no. Well, that's one of the things. Whenever Tooth come and worked out with me a couple times, and then LeBron has as well. And that's one of the things I always. What?
LeBron.
The owner of Common
The
John.
owner of
his
Common
name's
John.
LeBron.
Oh, I thought you were talking about LeBron James. I was like, no shot.
There are more than one LeBron in this world.
No,
Okay, all
I
right.
know. I only know.
I promise. Like, check a phone book. Oh, God, you don't even know what a phone book is. My bad. I digress. Okay. But no, that was one of the things I always, I told them, I like to loosen up, stretch, and everything is about core.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything is about core. I don't care what it is. Like, the core is always engaged, you know,
Always.
and but I've learned in order to have that, you have to be flexible and stretch out your core and make sure that it's always ready to be worked.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, good stuff right there. All right, guys, we're taking a break. We come back. We got the Common John update. Got Lone Theater Music of the Week. And we may have a few more questions for the average Joe over here.
Let's do it.
I think you can answer them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, you can stretch out Tooth while we're on a break.
I'll do it.
I'm stretching out my
You
neck.
stretching out your neck right now?
Hey.
You're listening to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck.
Quack!
I was not expecting that at all. I might have peed a little bit. I think I dribbled.
A little pee came out.
It did. What is wrong with you?
Nothing. I was just making sure you're
Oh, I gotta
awake.
pull up Common John.
See what's happening? You don't even know what's going on.
I don't. Oh my gosh.
What's happening?
I don't know.
So, welcome back to the Everyday Joe Show, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I've not brought it back yet.
Episode 350.
This is episode
brought to you by
Tree Fitty.
Canathesis.
Brought to you in part by Common John Brewing Company and the Travis Reed.
Ketosis. Ketamine.
Ketamine's not good for you.
That's wrong.
What?
No.
You don't want ketamine. That's bad.
Stretch it out.
You know what horses do?
Ketamine?
Yeah. Horse tranquilizers
Maybe.
have ketamine in them.
All right, guys, welcome back to Everyday Joe Show. Brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck, episode 350. Tooth is confused.
We did this already.
350.
That's Bull. That's Mr. Joe Watson. Me, the Travis Reed.
Watson.
Oh, Watson. He good. That boy good. All right, guys, now time for your Common John update. First and foremost, save this date. We've been talking about it for months now.
Midget wrestling.
Yeah. September 17th, Micro Wrestling.
Where?
Common John.
Common John Brewing Company right here in Manchester, Tennessee.
So are we.
Oh, yeah.
Best time we ever had with a
Okay,
bunch of little
wait.
people
You're
wrestling.
from East Tennessee, and you didn't know that Micro Wrestling is based out of Pigeon Forge?
Yeah,
That
this,
is its
I didn't.
home base.
yeah, this
Really?
company that's coming down, they are based out of Pigeon Forge.
Heck yeah.
He said he's there, guys. We're going to show this guy the
See.
night of his life.
All right. You're going to have a good time, bro.
You better stretch before you come, boys, because we're going to have fun.
I'm going to do my best to weasel my way in there somehow. Some way. I think it'll be fun.
We'll stretch out the invitation to our boy Joe.
Huh?
I'm going to do this all night.
All night. All night. There it is. That's September 17th, Micro Wrestling, Common John Brewing Company. Stay tuned for more details as far as how to purchase your tickets, ticket prices, and all that. Rigmarole. Well, we have a special guest. Jerry Lynn
The wrestling guy?
will be there. He's a coach for AEW, All Elite Wrestling. He'll be there.
He's been on the show.
He's been on the show.
Super guy.
Super good. And then watch some of his matches, and you're like, how's this guy even human? It's insane. I told him about it the other night, and he was like, when is it? And I was like, September 17th. He's like, oh, I'm not on the road that night. We don't have a show. I'm going to be here. And his wife's like, oh, it's already in the calendar. So they're going to be there. He's like, I just want to go meet the guys. I'm like, oh, man. So I'm fired up. Ringside seat. I better have one, or it's somebody's getting a chair.
I bet if you don't
Guaranteed.
have a ringside seat, you'll be coming off a top rope somewhere.
Top middle rope somewhere.
Well, I don't.
I hate you too.
It's probably more like a pillow at this.
This might be. They're one of those.
They wrestle in a full-size wrestling ring. Anybody ever confused by the wrestling ring being square? It's weird.
Yeah,
isn't
well,
it?
and they call it the
The
square
square circle.
The AAA down in Mexico, it's six-sided.
I'm about to say, you get hit in the head for 30 years and see what you call something.
Conclusions.
Conclusion.
Travis calls them conclusions.
It's how I thought concussion. Well, the guy that just left, he was telling a story about youth football dude talking about, we got to stay on top of these concussions now. And so I just started calling them concussions because I'm like, why wouldn't I call them concussions? That's what it is.
Right.
Because that's what roosters get, I guess.
Yeah, you get one of those spikes.
Those are concussions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
You're getting confused, boy.
Sorry. My bad. My bad.
You're just stretching that story out. So that's September 17th, and that is on a Tuesday. And they're going to open up. Press Box 11 will be open.
So the shorty's going up on a Tuesday.
But the Saturday before that, September 14th, the Common John Brew Fest and Family Reunion, 4th annual. Correct, Will?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Yeah.
The beer festival.
It's been 4 annual years.
This is 4 annuals.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Is what it is, and really excited. Got a lot of collabs. 42 breweries coming in. That's absolutely awesome. Homebrewers, once in a lifetime opportunity to taste a lot of these beers. Over 150 total beers, seltzers, and ciders.
I'm gonna be so drunk.
Yeah, it's gonna.
That's a lot of beers, man.
It's gonna be an awesome day.
Sounds like Talladega.
It does sound like Talladega, doesn't it? Little,
Yeah.
not quite as wild, but yeah. And that's the thing. I always talk about this every year before the Brew Fest. The home brews is my favorite because they've got those guys that talk about drag racing, rung what you brung. Well, that's what they're doing. They're making it in the garage, making it in the living room, whatever. And these are some tasty beers these guys are churning out.
Maybe we should call it Bruladega.
Bruladega? I like it. I'm down.
Come on down to Bruladega.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna go with Brula.
Bruladega?
Come on down to Bruladega, boys. Sunday, and Saturday.
Door, bumper, clear. But yeah, I love the homebrew. There's one guy, it was Jamie. I can't remember his last name. You know Jamie. He made like a jalapeno.
Way back.
He made like a jalapeno beer, and he grew the jalapenos himself and infused them into the beer. And I say this jokingly, but you could taste the dirt. You know what I mean? You really could, but you could taste how fresh that freaking jalapeno was. You're like, oh, this isn't a jalapeno in a jar.
On a stick. It
On
is.
a stick.
It is an actual jalapeno.
Yes. it was phenomenal. And you know, the guy who supplies the grains for South of Red Light, Corey Willis.
Yep.
He makes a Czech Pilsner. Oh, that thing's fire, dude. It is so good.
Check.
Well, again, you know, the homebrew winner, because again, everybody votes in whether or not they like it, and then they get to do a brew at Common John Brewing Company. And the Dunkel, the Slam Dunkel that's on right now, it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, those guys had some good stuff.
Yep.
Matlock was there last year. He had some good beer. Him and Derek did a little something together.
Did Jay go?
I don't think he did. We tried to get him to. We talked about it. I don't think he ever did, though. I don't remember. I had sampled too many beers. And guys, that's another thing about walking around. You get tons of stickers. Sometimes you can coax them out of a hat. Sometimes they'll give you full beers. Towards the end of the day, they don't want to take that beer home with them. They just started handing me cans of beer. Here you go. I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
And don't forget, necklaces.
Yeah.
Pretzels, huh? Who gonna pass that up?
Dude, you can walk around and just you ain't got to move and just snack on a necklace. You got pretzels.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's like okay.
It's like Mardi Gras beads, but edible.
Exactly. And nobody's got to show you their
Nobody's got to show you your man boobs.
It was great.
You know,
Great.
Can
one of the
I
things
show my man boobs?
One of the things that's really cool about it that, you know, continue to get. I am not a beer connoisseur like Eli is. You know,
He's a craft beer expert.
craft beer expert. But the few beer festivals I have went to, it feels like you're in a cafeteria line, you know, just going from one to the next and to the next.
100%.
But one of the things that was important at the Common John Beer Festival was it to truly make it a community event. So like everybody's all together and you're side by side, and so you're all talking and, you know, beer. So it's a really, really cool vibe. It's a really, really good vibe.
It's very
been
open.
created.
Like you don't have to, like he talked about, you know, being in like a cafeteria line. You can go wherever. There's no order of which you go. You just go. And I went to a couple where it felt like that because everybody started doing that. Just kind of like you just hold out your cup and they'll pour beer. You know, you just went down the line and it was kind of like you didn't have time to talk to them. This one's so much different because you're just hanging out sampling beer with your buddies and you don't even know these people, but they're your buddies now, whether you like it or not. You know, and that was so cool about it. And a lot of the people, you know, knew us from the show, saw us at Common John. They seen us at their breweries, and you got to know them even better. And of course, you got all the Common John regulars, and then you got people coming from Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, North Carolina, you know, coming just for the Brewfest.
Missouri, Atlanta, Louisville. We got them from all over.
Yeah, so it's a big old party, and it rained last year. That stopped absolutely no one.
No.
They were
If
still
there's
there.
alcohol involved, rain's all right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Rain's all right.
It's fine.
You pay for a bottomless cup, you're going to get that bottomless cup.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that is September 14th. Over
Travis,
100.
may I add too?
Yeah.
So that evening, which the gates will begin to open to the public at 5, but we will have, again, in the spirit of local business, celebrating being local, Stagger Moon, Kai Brazelton, and them will be opening up. And then after that will be the Huffer Brothers.
The Huffer Brothers. I didn't know this.
We have confirmed. We
Can
now
confirm.
have confirmed. So it is confirmed, no longer said rumor, but we have a whole day of drinking beer, then an evening of great music with Stagger Moon and the Huffer Brothers.
I'm
It's
going
gonna
to
be a
feel like
phenomenal day.
crap on Sunday.
Good luck.
Oh, my
Andy
God.
Lee, Andy Lee. Yeah.
These guys, twins, and when they play music, they played it at Tootsie's, they played at Kid Rock's, they played everywhere, and they have a daggum good time. It don't matter where they go.
I mean, it's usually, It used to be a double shot of fun. It used to be a double shot
One
of
would
fun.
call it.
Yeah. That's great, man. Stagger Moon, then the Huffer Brothers.
That
I
is
love
correct.
The Huffer Brothers, man. They danced on the bar at Daddy Billy's.
Oh, yeah.
They bar danced, bro, and the crowd was loving it. It was awesome.
It's going to be a good time. Save that date, September 14th. Over 150 beers, seltzers, and ciders. Plenty of music, as Bull just talked about. Special collabs, tons of food selections, and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to try some home brews, man. It'll be a good time. I cannot wait.
You probably can meet Travis and Tooth.
We'll probably be there. We'll sign autographs for free.
I do sign them for free.
Well, just get us a beer. That's free.
I sign man boobs for free.
You do, don't you? Yeah, you signed mine the other day. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Oh, man, some good stuff going on at Common John Brewing Company. And don't forget, Common John now, they have the services of Prestige Worldwide. They're going to be involved in the Haunts and Hops 6.4K coming up with the Step Brothers, Jay Nagadula and Josh Carney.
So great.
And
Prestige
Oh, so great.
Why? All proceeds from the race will be donated to the
Boats and
sportsmen.
hoes.
That's tax write-off.
Okay.
Yes.
The sportsman and boats and hoes.
Yes. The Sportsmen and Businessmen Charitable Organization, wonderful, wonderful charity here in Coffee County. You can register now.
That is correct. It is open. Yep, go to the Facebook event. It'll take you there to register. Make sure you register because after September 16th, the registration fee will increase. And me and Kim, we just finalized the finisher medals today and the swag. So we are going to be swagged out, sir.
Swagged out.
Swagged out.
So is the next one going to be the Catalina wine mixer?
Well, after the great success of the Catalina wine mixer, they're now moving on to the Haunts and Hops 6.4K.
Touche.
But in
Is he
comparison
related?
to
Is he related to Tattoo Nagadula?
good 100%, 100% is.
Oh,
But I've done a series, and I'll show you.
Okay.
But what's one of the interesting things about this run, it is one of the most unique runs in the Southeast.
Okay.
And definitely in Tennessee. It's an only run that's not just it's not a 5K, but it also runs through a downtown, a greenway, a state park, and starts and ends at a brewery.
That's awesome.
So it's one of the most unique races, and plus you can dress up, come have fun if you want to. Try
Can
to
I
compete.
walk?
100% you can.
I'm there.
100%.
can I drive?
No. Well, you can around the cones.
Can I wear my Heelys?
You can.
I
You
will
can.
be at the start finish line then.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. Under a canopy in case
Oh,
it gets
oh,
hot.
oh.
If I
Always
can
a winner.
rollerblade
Always a
it, I'd
winner
be
there.
down. Can we rollerblade it?
If you want to,
Be
I
awesome.
say you can. All right, guys, that's the goings on at the Common John Brewing Company. Big couple months coming up here, man. It'll be exciting.
Pretty
and
exciting.
we'd be remiss if we did not talk about the great fun that we had at the Leonard Skinner tribute band, Freebird. Dude, they were fantastic. And they sounded great. All the music was really, really tight. They played some great songs. They played On the Hunt. That's my jam, dog.
I learned how to play that intro just because of you.
You did. I appreciate that. They sounded fantastic, man. Oh my goodness.
They were 120% in honor of your numbers. Professional. They were phenomenal.
That's what LeBron said. He's like, man, Bull complimented them as to how easy they were to mix and work with. He's like, it's just like I'm not even working. So,
It's like, man, it was like Tuesday was gone.
dude, huh?
It's like it was gone with the wind.
Bull's just a simple man that
He
night.
was. He was a simple man that night, man. You know, he was talking about, ooh, that smell. Everywhere you look, ooh, that smell.
All right, guys, we'll take another break. We come back. We got lunchtime theater, music of the week. Then we're gonna get put him back in the hot seat. Got some questions. Yeah. You're listening to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck. All right, guys, welcome back to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck, episode 350. Tooth Bull. That's Mr. Joe Watson. over there.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Joe.
Hey, how are you?
I heard
BD
you, I heard
Travis
you
Reed.
stretched your woman out.
Ooh.
Stretched her all out. Because, hey, Joe, Jimmy
Hey,
Hendrix.
Joe. Hey,
Heard you
Joe.
shot your woman down.
Ah, look at there. See, I know the words. Hey, Joe, and that's all I know. That's all.
Yeah, see, all that went over my head.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, yeah, he's 12.
Yeah, he is.
Times 2.
Man,
I was about
12
to say,
times 2.
12 squared.
That's it.
That's not. Yeah. Lunchtime theater.
that's
Well, what have you been watching?
Well, I did tell you about a show I watched this week.
Yeah,
Remember?
I do.
I was really intrigued on the Max. There is a documentary. I think it was a 3-part,
Mm-hmm.
and it is about Pete Rose.
ooh, okay.
It's called Charlie Hustle.
I think you sent me.
I sent you the name of it. It's something about Hustle.
You sent me the picture of it.
But yeah, it's a whole Pete Rose thing. Listen, I did not know all the things that everybody who knows about Pete Rose knows because I've never really
Right.
cared.
You knew who he was.
I know who he was.
You knew
I
what he
know,
did.
I know what he did. I know that in my mind, he didn't bet on himself to lose. So
How can you be mad?
how are you gonna be mad? He bet on himself to win. You can't cheat that. You can't cheat winning unless the other person is involved in losing on purpose, and that was never the case that,
Right.
that I have seen. Now, all of that being said, with all of my naivety, if you will, on the situation, I'm going to say after watching this, I have built a perception of this man, and I can't say it is of the highest regard,
No,
because it's not.
no.
No.
So this is a pretty true,
Look, man,
like no
there's-
holds barred type documentary.
It's he. Like the things that I've based my perceptions were him. It
Right.
wasn't. It was him now. Like during the course of them filming this documentary, things that happened in real time,
Right.
and I'm just like, bro, what are you just? He's a hole digger.
Mm.
He digs. He starts a hole and he just keeps digging it. Just keeps digging it, and it just.
Can't get out of it.
Yeah, man. I don't know, but I do think that they need to let him in.
Yeah.
100%. I do believe that. I think that's the case. I do think you should watch it if you're into the Pete Rose thing. And
Oh
you're
yeah.
like I said, it's not just stories about Pete Rose as much as it is. It's Pete Rose. They're talking to Pete Rose now. They're getting his side of things. They're getting his story of things. And
It's Pete Rose.
it's much like the Lance Armstrong 30 for 30 in the light that he's painting himself.
Right. Which that was a really good one.
And it's a good one.
That's for sure. What?
And go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to also recommend. Kim and I have tried to finish Mindhunter season 2,
Mm-hmm.
and we're up to the last episode. That is such a good show, bro.
Really?
God, it is such a
I
good
watched
show.
the first season.
I loved
Which
it.
one, too? What?
Mindhunter
Oh,
on Netflix.
I've been praising about that for years.
We're on season 2. Episode 10 is the final episode of season 2, and dude, I'm telling you, every episode has kept me waiting for the next one. I'm ready to watch the next one.
It
Heck
is
yeah.
phenomenal.
It's a good show.
If you like that stuff, it's a loosely based on how the FBI determined looking into serial killers.
How they created like
Profiling and all
behavioral analysis.
Oh,
And,
I'm in.
There's a really cool documentary that's a legit documentary on Hulu called. Well, I went blank. It's not Mindhunter, but it's something about
Hunters of the Mind.
the mind, and it's about the lady who actually did.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that a couple
Her
weeks
name
ago.
was Ann something, and she actually did kind of invent this. She was a big part of working with the FBI in creating the standardized questioning that they use. I don't know. It's just really cool, man, on Hulu about this lady.
Trying to see, you talked about it a couple weeks ago.
I was trying to pull it up. I couldn't get it to load.
Mastermind.
Mastermind. It's called Mastermind, not to
Mastermind.
be confused for Zach Galifianakis. But it's really, if you're into that kind of stuff, this is the true kind of background of how this came to be. It talks a lot about, like, in the 80s, before your time,
A little bit, just a little bit.
Dirt.
rape is always a big thing, but in the 80s, it was quite a different thing in the way that back then, it was much more common to blame the victim. It was a big victim blaming thing. It was always the men, especially, were very much, it's the woman's fault. It's the woman's fault. And it was not a no means no very big society. And that's when this stuff kind of started being pushed. and being taught was kind of in the 70s, early 80s. This thing started kind of getting pushed forward and moved forward. And she talks about how she had to be one-on-one with some police officers and FBI agents, in a man's world, and getting them to see the light of it's not her fault. You can't blame her because she wore whatever she wore. If she said no, then it means no. And it's just really enlightening, and it's really cool, all of the things that she did as a pioneer in this field. Like right down to learning how to fly and becoming a pilot so that she could get back and forth. Her husband going to be a commercial pilot so he could get his family back and forth for the things she was doing. Amazing story, man. It's just really cool.
Yeah, I still didn't watch that.
Sweet.
Yeah, that'd be good. I was going to ask, is Charlie Hustle, is it as good as the Reggie Jackson documentary?
I think so. I think so. As far as
because Reggie was pretty real in a lot of in that one. Have you seen that one?
I haven't. I haven't.
It's fantastic. Dude.
What's it on?
It's on Max. Is it on Max?
I think that's where I
think it's
watched
on. I think Reggie
Okay,
Jackson.
I'll check it out.
It's just called Reggie, I think.
Okay.
He gets real, man. It's good. Talk about when his
I cried at one point. Remember?
Yep.
Like it was legit.
pollen count was high in my living room at night. Like it's
Now,
pretty
really?
emotional. Yeah, dude. It's because I think I text Tooth right when it's done, and I was like, "Hey, dude, you need to watch this." And he's like, "I'm on it." And then like a couple days later, he's like, "Man, pollen count's high in my living room." I'm like, "Dude, I was the same way. I was by myself watching it. And I'm sitting here just tears running down my face." I'm
Give me
like,
the weekend. I'll probably be the same on Monday.
Oh, dude, I mean, you being a baseball fan, it's a good one, man.
Sign
'cause
me up.
You hear a lot of his trials and tribulations that he had in the in the '60s and stuff, playing in was it Birmingham, wasn't it? Playing in the South, and then like Raleigh Fingers is there with him, talking about they wouldn't let Reggie eat here, so I just got me a to-go plate and ate in the bus with Reggie and let him stay in my hotel room, and I had to sneak him out the back because he wasn't allowed in those
Right.
restaurants. He wasn't allowed to, and to hear Reggie talk about it, you're like, God dang, you've heard it, but then you hear it, you're like, geez, man,
Yeah.
and then you hear his teammates like, nah, if he ain't in there, I ain't eating there. I'm gonna eat with him, and you just felt like, how bad it hurt him, and it's emotional, very emotional.
It's such a different light when he paints the story because what we are grown up being taught about is yes, this was a terrible time, but we're seeing this as a triumphant rise of the race. This is where things started. Right, and the way it is portrayed to us and the way it is taught to us is from that positive light in a lot of aspects, and we don't see it until you get it from the horse's mouth.
Right.
Yeah, okay. This may have been a great door-opening thing looking back 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years later, but it wasn't when I was living it. And that is the eye-opener for me, the connection that is lost in the history books.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made you really just go, oh, it really was that bad. Like, it I felt some kind of way afterwards. I mean, I'm getting cold chills talking about it right now. I may go watch it before I go to bed. It's really good, really well done too, man. And because Reggie Jackson was such a, I mean, dude, that dude could play. He could ball.
Baller.
Yeah,
Baller.
So, and imagine how good he would be in today's game. I think he'd shatter a lot of records.
Yeah.
Lots of records.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to do that. Charlie Hustle on the Max, correct?
Correct. That
check.
is correct.
I'll check that out. All right, man. Boy, what you been watching? What you been watching?
Furiosa.
Furiosa?
Mad Max?
Yep.
You good?
I enjoyed it, but I love the whole, of course, nothing still beats Thunderdome.
No.
I mean, Thunderdome is still the.
Nothing like a good dystopian society.
I was just about to say something
Well, I
similar.
mean, you put Tina Turner in any society, and that's my society.
I'm down.
I dig that Chris Hemsworth is in Furiosa. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm kind of digging the fact that he's got that crazy character.
Oh, and it is a crazy. There's been a lot of characters that he's done that I really haven't enjoyed, but this is very suiting to him, if you ask me.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters that, I mean, oh God, the Ghostbusters, which was a terrible one, and there's been a couple other, but
I really like Fat Thor.
Yeah, Fat Thor's great.
You're on the vein, sir. You're on the vein. All right.
Fat Thor really empowered me. I was like,
I'm telling you.
that's my guy.
That's, I'm
gets
telling
it.
you. Like, if that's where you found it. But
I liked him in Cabin in the Woods. I just like him.
I do too.
He's like Josh Hartnett for me.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And again, you know, I'm right there with you. But that right there, and then on Tooth, because I'm always watching. I love human psychology and all that stuff. So, Sons of Sam. So, and again, you know, if you guys have probably heard about Sons of Sam, but it's the whole premise that an investigative journalist and a rogue detective started seeing more and more depth into. It wasn't just Berkowitz.
Right.
It was this entire network that was linked all the way to. And so anyway, it was just
That it's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yes.
I can't
Yes.
remember.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
think-
on
I think, yeah.
Netflix. And so
Yes.
yeah, but anyway, so I went back and I'm watching it again because of course I read something that come up in Chicago just about 5 years ago.
Right.
And that they made a reference to the Sons of Sam. So I was like, let
Well,
me go back and watch it.
Well,
And,
go do some research.
yeah, go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
And so, because I'd already watched it before, I enjoyed it.
Yes.
But, yeah, no, Furioso and Sons of Sam.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Joe, you been watching anything interesting?
Yeah, a new show called The Sopranos.
Yeah. Get out. I'm kidding.
No, I had a client put me onto it the other day, and my dad's from upstate New York, so
Okay.
He just discovered TV.
pretty
He
much.
never had a phone.
But
Give
no,
me the gabagool.
yeah, pretty much. So I grew up in a pretty authentic Italian family, so
Oh, sweet.
I love like Goodfellas, Godfather, anything that has to do with the mafia. I love to watch. So
Yes.
I'd seen it before
La
and tried
Casa
the first
Nostra?
episode. I'm a big first episode guy, so if it doesn't capture my attention there,
Done.
I'm out.
Dunzo.
So I gave it to like episode 3 or 4, and I think I'm like at the back end of season 1 right now. I'm loving it.
Let me tell you, brother.
I'm loving it.
I am not a Sopranos buff by any means.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably seen 3 episodes ever.
Okay.
But what I'm going to tell you is the people that, it's like any of these other Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, the people that were watching it religiously were involved in it. And when its series finale came on, I will never forget. I know where I was.
Really?
I know who was there because this was such a huge event for my buddy Toby. It was, I promise you, the man cried a little bit just because it was going to be the last episode. And then it was one of those things where, you know, it wasn't quite 100% perfect the way it ended for him, you know.
Yeah.
Never forget it. We were at Chris Harden's,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a whole ordeal, dude. It was everybody be quiet, everybody shut the hell up, and we popcorn and just
So you
watched.
didn't pull like the night that Arn Anderson retired and you started talking. No. Okay.
I didn't know any better.
You didn't. It's fine. I started watching. I didn't watch it when it first came on back in the day.
It's legit.
My daughter wanted to start watching it, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll watch it together. It's cool." And I was like, "Why didn't I watch this?" Just like now, I've been talking about the past couple shows. I've started watching 24, and
Jim Bauer.
That's a great show.
Cody Sievers was always a fan.
Know what you're talking about now? We talked about a couple shows ago about it being a product placement show.
Can't unsee it.
Not now that you mentioned it. That's for sure. All right, Tooth, music of the week. What you got?
Well, this week I have music that I've been listening to.
Good times. Well,
So I've chosen a song this evening that I've already added to Toothpicks, and it's by Shia Zamora. It's called Pretty Little Devil, and it is a groovy, it's kind of got a dark sound the way it starts out. It's got that kind of gothy kind of sound to it, but it is absolutely a groovy tune. I've already added it, as I said, on Toothpicks, which you can find on Spotify. You can go to our webpage, www.everydayjoeshow.com. You can go to the Toothpicks tab, click it. It's a link directly to the Spotify Toothpicks list. If you choose to like the list, you get a new song every Thursday when I add a song. There are 290 songs as of tonight.
Wow.
That's a lot of listening pleasure. It's not a singleized genre, as everyone that listens knows. It's all over the place. I try to keep it as a crowd pleasing as possible. I try to keep it. It's not gangster rap and heavy. It's mostly going to be pleasing music for most ears. There's some curse words here and there, but for the most part, it's not vulgarity by any means. A lot of folk music, a lot of indie music, a lot of just classic rock sounding music. Just give it a shot if you like music, if you're into hearing new things. And as we all know, it's not new music every week. It's new to me. It can be new to you if you choose to listen to it.
And sometimes he'll go off the rails and just throw some classics in there. Because that's
stuff,
what he's feeling that week.
What did we do? A month of the 70s, a month of the 80s? I would just throw things out that were my favorites from back in the day.
Yeah, you got to have that.
Interesting thing. If you go on Two Sticks, you'll learn about so much. Except for the Deftones. You will not learn anything. See?
Band
There we
called
go.
the Deftones.
Oh,
Yep.
There's an
If you
excellent
go on
band.
his picks,
okay.
you will not learn a single thing about the Deftones.
Have you been following the fact that they've been playing some shows absent their normal guitarist?
I have not. I
People
did
are
not know
people are
that.
very concerned about the guitarist.
Oh, that's
not
not
know that.
That's not good.
The Deftones is an excellent band, but as I've tried to previously mention, I'm trying to keep this as close to making the masses happy as possible. I want
Right.
to keep people enthralled and engaged. And sometimes music like what the Deftones produce, who I love and am a huge fan of.
Right.
I have several of their albums downloaded. I have their album on CD. I have one on vinyl. That's not necessarily crowd pleasing to everyone. If you're into it, great. You love it. If you're not into it, you're not even going to listen to the rest of my list if you hear that song
Heard.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
or that band. So, I love the Deftones.
Good stuff as usual, too. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you appreciating me.
I appreciate you appreciating me appreciating Bull.
I appreciate the appreciation in here.
Look, this man right here.
I'd appreciate if you travel on down to the next segment.
Well, we did stretch this one pretty far. So. Huh? Come on.
Because he's a traveler. He's a traveler.
Oh, my God. Off the rails.
He's going to be advertising for Chris Stapleton and Sazerac and Buffalo Trace and
Everybody.
Traveler.
You're listening.
Traveler.
You're listening to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by
He's
the
a
Common John Brewing
traveler.
Company here on 93.9 The Duck.
Get the Traveler.
The Traveler.
Travel down to your local liquor store and pick up a bottle of Traveler. You too can remember the jingle. Get the Traveler. I'm not going to be able to drink it now, Travis. I have to drive in 2 minutes. I'm tired. I'm dog tired, boss. Dog tired.
Don't crack it right now.
I'm not. I'm getting prepared.
No, I thought, no, but we can't. We all have shit to do. Like,
We're just gonna have a shot. I'm not gonna drink the whole thing.
Did you not miss the whole first segment of the whole first story?
About what?
Never mind.
Were you listening to the dude's story, Donnie? You're like a child wandering aimlessly into a store.
Whose kid is that on the escalator? Sorry. All right, guys, welcome back to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck, episode 350, Tooth, Bull, Joe Watson, me, the Travis Reed, and we're not going to get to drink whiskey now. So, during the Travis talk, it's my segment. I'm going to be selfish and talk about me for a second. But I've got to ask you the question. So I had neck surgery 4 years ago. Had disc replacement. Had to hammer out the old discs because they exploded and hammer into metal ones. Had a bone spur on the back of my neck. Quit powerlifting. A lot of soreness in my neck every day. What kind of stretches can one do for that? Is there anything I can do?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, kind of like what I said earlier, I think it was in the last segment about everyone's always kind of looking down at their phones and stuff. So, and then I also said it earlier as well, just reverse the process. So like the back of your neck's hurting, work on the front.
Right.
So I do that with a lot of clients. Like, hey man, my neck is just so bound up. Perfect. Like, is it on the side? Is it in the front? Where are we hurting at? Always in the back, usually like kind of towards the traps. Warm that up, get it loosened up. From there, work on the front. If you can open up the front, it's going to open up the back. Just because the neck is in flexion so much, looking at screens all day, that you have to put it into extension in order to get it to feel better. If that's not working, then I would definitely see like the closest person. I mean, chiropractor, FST practitioner, just someone that is gonna get it to relax and open up.
Right. Okay. Because I have.
Well, out of curiosity, it is your segment to help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would it help or hurt if another individual was like always grabbing and like slamming it in this motion? Like, is that a good motion or a bad one?
Probably hurt.
It would probably hurt. All right,
Probably
so
hurt.
stay away from that motion.
Yeah. I have been.
All right, there we go.
Thank goodness. It still hurts.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's like I'll just turn a certain way and it's it locks.
Oh, yeah.
It just, I'm like, what happened? I don't know.
That'd be again like what you asked earlier. Like, is it better to do it morning, afternoon, or night for you with neck pain like that? Morning and night would be. I mean, really any time of the day. Like
Right.
you can't do too much, so you'll be good. But
Okay.
definitely in the morning, I would take care, spend a couple minutes with it, and just kind of feel it out.
Gotcha. I hate it. I hate it here, Brian. Hate it. I'm done.
Doesn't care for it here, Brian.
What? And just as a general, what is a good? We were talking about earlier 2 stretches every morning. I guess it sounds like I need to. What's a good little short routine to stretch? And I know what you do is a little bit different,
Right.
but just how we could stretch to get going in the morning. Just a quick little 5-minute deal. 'Cause-
Not the usual Travis stretch either.
no. Whatever.
Ain't no problem. No, I mean, it's really good. Like, if you just sit on the floor, feet kind of shoulder width apart, and rock your knees kind of from side to side, what it's going to do is kind of lubricate the joint capsules in your hips. And then from there, you can kind of go into like a 90-90 and then kind of reach your arm overhead. Again, always making things relaxing. Basically, all I post on my Instagram is stuff that you can do at home or in an office or a classroom, pre-practice, post-practice. I usually don't post a lot of like clientele stuff just
Yeah.
because, NDAs, I don't want to like evade anybody's privacy or anything.
I understand.
So if you give me a follow at Average Joe Stretching on Instagram, all my stuff is for at-home remedies.
Okay, I'll watch that as going to sleep tonight.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's and because that's with the hips you talking about. That sounds good. My hips started hurting. I think it's just I'm not used to doing the walking I'm doing now,
Right.
like all the time, going up and down the steps all the time. Because when I was working the food truck, I would take 5,000 steps, but they were 3 steps at a time.
Right.
He moved like Gumby and Pokey.
Pretty much. I mean, you just doop doop over here, doop over, and it was easy. Now I'm like up steps, down steps. So my
Well,
body's
no, I mean,
like,
it's fair to say now, you're a traveler.
You're a traveler.
now you got Joe doing it.
Assault
catchy.
Stapleton, what was it, last weekend?
Yeah.
Best concert I've ever been to.
Wow.
It was awesome.
He's obviously not seen Garth Brooks.
Or Metallica.
I have not.
They're travelers too.
I want to see Garth Brooks.
It's an
Metallica?
excellent show.
I'd go see him.
Okay, good answer. Yeah, we got to see Stapleton open up for Guns N' Roses in 2016, 2017. And then he opened up for George Strait last year.
My parents were at that concert
Yeah,
and
it
it got
rained.
rained out.
Oh, yeah. It started raining, and then George went into, I forget the song now, and just skipped 18 songs, went to that. All right, y'all have a good night. I was already at the car when he said that. I was like, it's fixing to come a gully washer, a Georgia turd floater, I'm out of here. Megan's like, you ready to go? Yeah, I'm ready to go. I got my J's on. I don't want to get them wet.
I was watching Justin Timberlake perform, and sure enough, here comes Chris. Comes out with him, hanging out, man. They had a good time. It's a good time.
That's
You saw
awesome.
JT?
Remember Pilgrimage 2017?
Oh, the pilgrimage, yes.
He was the headliner, and he brought Chris out, and then Chris brought his wife out, and they did a little duet.
Well, that
It was
girl
good.
can sing.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah.
Man, she can well, dude.
And the energy they have on stage together, there's just so much love up there. Like, I mean, it's not a Morgan Wallen concert where he's just going to be busting around stage all day.
Throwing
But it
chairs
is
and stuff.
That's right.
Is that too soon?
No, we were talking about the day after it happened on here. What are you
Put that chair
talking
down, Morgan. Put that chair down.
about? Megan made a TikTok 20 minutes later.
Oh, Lord.
The news broke, and she's like, oh, I got an idea.
She's an influencer. She's an influencer.
She is, man.
But no, I mean, his concert was just, I mean, it was electric.
He is so good. His voice so good, and he is a daggum good guitar player too. Good guitar player. That's I enjoyed it 2 times I've seen it for sure. He's a traveler.
You ever seen Without a Beard?
Traveler.
I have not.
It's wild.
Really?
Yeah. As soon as I got home that night, my girlfriend was like, "What does he look like without a beard?" I was like,
Barefaced.
"Don't look that up." It was interesting. I was like, "That's a completely different human."
Well, what's so funny is,
Kind
I
of
mean,
Wild.
you go back to 2009, 2011. He was just at Nashville City Winery up on stage with everybody else.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
He'd written a couple hit songs at that time, but still, you
To,
know, he's
to
just
be
there
a
at City
fly
Winery.
on a wall.
Yeah.
To be a fly on a wall.
Oh yeah, that would be. It'd be a fun time for sure. All right, guys, we're gonna take another break. We come back. I got a couple burning questions from Mr. Joe. See how he answers them. I don't think he's gonna be able to get one of them though.
He's got a medical degree. He's good.
He's good. Yeah, he's good. Then we're gonna find out what we have learned. You're listening to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck. All right, guys, welcome back to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck, episode 350, Chevrolet Small Block, Tooth Bull, Joe Watson, me, the Travis Reed. Got a couple burning questions for you, Joe.
Oh, Lord.
You ready?
Here we go.
Did you study?
Here we go. No.
Yeah? All right. One celebrity, living or dead, that you would like to hang out with.
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth?
Yeah. 100%.
That has never been an answer.
100%.
George Herman Ruth.
How? Sandlot. I answered my own question.
Listen, you already know. I may not be a sports like watching the games like you, but I have always been a sports history guy. I've always watched the movies about sports.
Very true.
What was it John Goodman did the Babe Ruth movie? I watched
Which
it.
I thought was pretty good.
Excellent movie. The Ty Cobb movie with
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
You seen that?
I have not.
The Natural.
The Naturals.
Ooh, The Natural's legit.
Yes. Tommy Lee Jones does a fantastic job playing Ty Cobb. And Robert, the guy that plays Stump, the guy writing the book, what's his name? He was in Batman. Gold? Robert Gold.
Yeah, Robert Gould.
Yeah.
Gould.
Dude, it's awesome. It's a fantastic movie. Ty Cobb was not a good person. Like,
No.
at all. Like, you see
Great
it.
picture, though.
Gould.
My favorite line from the movie, it's not a spoiler, but he was on stage at this club, and this guy's like going to ask him a couple questions.
Yeah.
And Ty Cobb's like 65 at the time. And he's like, "We got the great Ty Cobb up here. Ty, how do you think you would fare against today's pitcher?" He said, I'd probably bat about 275, 280. He's like, 275 or 280? You're a lifetime, 340 hitter. Why so low? Because I'm 65 years old, you dumb son of a gun. Give me that microphone. And he
That's
just
how-
start going off on Babe Ruth.
That's how you know you're in GOAT status like that. Same thing with Michael Jordan. He did that a couple years ago, too. They were like, you think the 95, 96 Bulls could beat what year did the Cavs, go crazy? It was like 16, 17, something like that. They're like, how do you think you'd match up? He was like, it'd probably be about a 4 or 5 point game. He was like, you think? He was like, yeah, we're all in our 60s now. I was like, Michael Jordan's my GOAT.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
There's no question about that.
No. And if there is, you're just not right.
Yeah, grow up.
And it's not LeBron and Jordan. It's LeBron and Kobe. If we want to go that way, Kobe was, and I didn't like Kobe.
I still think Jordan can outplay LeBron today. I don't care about the age difference. That's my belief.
Yes.
I mean, he was
100%.
getting tackled by Bill Laimbeer and just bouncing right back.
Yep. And let me tell you, Bill Laimbeer was a pretty big man.
Huge.
He's 6'11". He was 240 pounds probably.
Yeah.
He wasn't like jacked up muscle and cut, but he's a big dude.
He was trying to play football the nights they were playing the Bulls.
Yes, he was. All right. This other question, not sure if you'll be able to answer it. All right. Have you seen the movie Dirty Dancing? Patrick Swayze, Jennifer
I
Grey?
have not. I know about it, but I have not seen that movie.
All right. Well, there's a start. Have you seen the movie Roadhouse?
Oh,
the original.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
It's way better than the new one. New one,
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal, if you ever see this, you're good, not your best. But, yes, Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze, sign me up.
All right.
Well, we know the answer to that question,
You're already mad.
and I'm not mad.
Who would you rather be, Johnny Castle from Dirty Dancing or Dalton from Roadhouse?
Dalton from Roadhouse.
My man.
Yeah.
That's the correct answer.
I mean,
Very, very chill, laid back,
killer.
killer. That's how you gotta be.
Chilled, laid back, killer.
Those are the people I'm most scared of is quiet people. And why? It's because Dalton from Roadhouse.
There you go.
My dad taught me at a very young age. He was like, never be scared of the people that are loud. Always be scared of the person that's in the corner not saying a word.
It's wise words. Bull's distraught over there. He can't even think.
What do you think, Bull?
Follow Beto.
No, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. You like men who stretch other men out. It's okay. I saw it coming.
You're not even surprised.
I'm also copacetic.
Are you?
Yep.
I thought you were
And
cumbersome.
I didn't even have to go to college to learn it.
Copacetic.
I was born with it.
You were?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Maybelline.
No, I was
Oh,
born
okay.
with it.
Say it again, Bull. What is it?
Huh?
Say it. What are you?
Cloudmatetic.
I thought so.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like having a conclusion.
It's concussion.
I'm not a rooster, sir. Not a rooster.
All right, guys, we're going to take another break. You know what? I got one more question.
All right, what
I don't
do you
know
got?
if you can answer this or not
All right,
because
all
of NDAs and stuff. Who is the most... If you can't answer it, I get it.
Okay.
I understand, won't be mad. Who's the most famous person that you've worked with so far?
Yeah, I probably won't be able to answer that.
I didn't
one.
think so.
Yeah.
I
Sorry
don't know.
about that.
No, hey, no, we've answered, we've asked questions on it before, and be like, man, I can't tell you that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, that's the end of the show. No, I'm kidding. We're going to take another break. We come back. We're going to find out what we have learned. Then it really will be the end of the show. You're listening to the Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Cotton John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck. That's pretty solid right there, man. Where's that been?
Don't cut that out.
Oh, no. They will. Smell that. That smells pretty good.
I mean, put it in the glass, man.
You'll have a little shot.
Give me a snort.
You pour what you want. I'm going to have a little toot of it. Smells wonderful.
Oh, it's great.
Is it better chilled or room temp? What do you prefer?
I don't know. I like it on a bourbon block, but that's just me. It's good stuff. I'll drink it
smells
either way.
heaven.
Oh, it's... Bull, you want a little shot?
No, it'll start a thing.
Gout.
That's really good.
So a guy up in
That is
St.
good.
Louis when I went up there with my girlfriend one time to visit her family, I went in there because at the time, like, you could not find it in the state of Tennessee. So we went up to Missouri, and he was like, yeah, like, the only reason that it's $40 is because Chris Stapleton's name is on it. Like, it's really not that great. And I was like, I've had it before. This stuff is amazing.
That was
he was
good.
Like, he was like, I compare it to, like, a Jack Daniels. Just like, you know, it's good, but, you know, it just has his name on it. I was like, who is this guy?
Comparing it to Jack Daniels was a pretty good compliment because Jack Daniels is one of the best whiskeys in the world.
No, he's saying, like, the, like, generic one.
Oh.
Everyone's got it. And I was like,
You mean,
all right.
You mean he compared it to one of the top-selling whiskeys in the fucking world?
I mean, touche. But I was like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude.
This
is just
stuff is
like
legit.
one of the #1 distributed whiskeys across the world. That's all.
Touche.
That is good.
You know, just one of the companies who made it through Prohibition and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
sorry, I'm too young.
We
You're
worked
not
it.
too young. And I understood what you were saying about his reference, but
Right.
we're explaining to you that man's simple-minded. We'll call him Simple Jack because
I also call him an idiot.
in the grand scheme of things, if you're going to compare it, I think what he's trying to do is compare it to something like Evan Williams
Okay.
or Jim Beam.
Jim Beam, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, or even George Dickel to that degree. If you were going to say, you know, it's a well-known, everybody's got it, people
Right.
know it. I could see him comparing it to that, but what he's comparing it to is a world-renowned
Heard. Okay.
whiskey
Okay.
Iconic brand.
thing.
Yeah.
I messed up. This
It's
isn't
not-
part
it's
of the
not really
podcast,
on you,
is it?
though.
No.
That's not on you. I get what he's saying, and I
Right.
get what you've explained, and I totally am not knocking anybody. But, yeah, I mean, flavor-wise, if I'm going to be really the devil's advocate, It is a delicious flavor. It's a little smoother than the old number 7.
I agree with that.
It's not quite as smooth as Gentleman. So yeah, as far as a taste comparison, it is very similarly flavored to that of Jack Daniels, I
Gotcha.
would say. But it is delicious. It is not to be. What he was doing was demeaning it, and it
Right.
should not be demeaned in any way because it is the delicious,
that's-
delicious.
that has no, and you know me, I'm more of a Dipple. I'm more of a 12-year fan. So it feels very, again, over ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels very similar to Dipple because that's how I drink my 12 years over ice.
Yeah. I still have a lot of exploring to do
Yeah.
in the whiskey bourbon world.
But hey, it's gonna be fun though.
I know. I'm excited.
I'm
So
fired up.
when you're out there trying things, I'm gonna make a recommendation for you. It's a bit expensive.
All right.
But when I make this recommendation, I want to make sure you understand it does not taste like this. It is
Okay.
not as smooth as this. It's called IH Ingram's.
IH.
IH Ingram's.
Okay.
And it is a river aged whiskey. And the story behind it is basically back in the day when they were transporting it.
Yeah.
To transport it, it was on a river and it was on barges, and because of the time it took to get from point A to point B, it was some extra time for it to ferment and do its thing or whatever it is, so it became river aged, and it does something with the flavor and the barrels and yada yada yada. It's like $80 for a bottle about that size.
Okay.
It's a little harsher flavor. It's a little harsher burn, but the flavor is impeccable. It's
Is it
really
hard to find?
delicious. No, I don't think it's that hard to find necessarily. I found it in Tullahoma. We're a small town, so.
Sweet.
All right, guys, welcome back to Everyday Joe Show, brewed by the Common John Brewing Company here on 93.9 The Duck, episode
350!
Get it, son. What are you talking about?
About 350. About 350.
Yeah, that's tooth, that's bull. That's Mr. Joe Watson, Average Joe Stretching.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's
Who
it.
was that Loch Ness Monster again trying to get 350?
Trying to get refitted.
Get out of here, Loch Ness Monster.
It's me, the Travis Reed. Now we're going to find out what we've learned. Tooth, what'd you learn?
I'm sorry. I learned that traveling is worth it if you're going to have the traveler beside you.
What are you talking about?
Traveler, traveler.
It's good whiskey.
It's good whiskey.
It's good whiskey.
It's smooth, man. It's sweet as Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah, I like the smell right before you take the sip, man.
Yeah.
That's
It does have a caramel. There's very notes of caramel, or caramel, as they might say.
yeah.
It's very
Like
caramel.
Caramel. I'm a caramel guy.
I'm a caramel guy.
Caramel.
Caramel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
I'm a caramel guy, and
You seem like it. You would be.
I'm a little caramel.
A little caramel. It does right before you take a drink. It does smell.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's really good, man. That's smooth. Eli would love it.
He would love it.
He would love it.
Bull, what'd you learn?
Well, I mean, again, thanks to having a medical professional on the show, I've learned that it starts in the hips, and when you work the hips, then that creates the lubrication. And
Yes.
once you get the lubrication all good and lubricated up, from there, it is easy going.
It's easy to stretch right into place then.
It is such easy to stretch whatever you want to into place, from what I've heard.
Slide right in there
Just slide on in there.
once you get the lubrication.
That's what's important. It starts in the hips.
I mean, just look at Rizzo. That's
But-
why he bats the way he does. It's all about lubricating the hips.
That's right.
You know what?
It came full circle.
It just come full circle.
Look at you.
That's what I do.
You're a learned man.
That's what I do.
Joe, what'd you learn, if anything? Not to come back on this show again.
No, I would 100% come back here. I would 100% come back here. Are you kidding
Why is
me?
it always a mess when you're stretching, Travis?
That's just the way I'm built. I'm built different.
He's built different. It's a mess when he stretches. It's a mess.
It is a mess.
We'll fix it. We'll
Yeah.
fix it. I learned that I need to get more cultured in the movie watching,
Yeah.
the whiskey, and the music listening for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so I'm going to say yes on the whiskey, and I'm going to even say I can commend you on wanting to get more versed and knowledged in the music. Man, don't worry about the TV and the movie. It rots your brain, bro. Just rots your brain.
Yeah, look at us.
Well, at least Dirty Dancing.
You know, that would be worth
That's
the
a
watch.
fantastic
And I'll
movie.
say that because it was the #1 grossing independent film of all time. And that's a fact.
That's a
Really?
fact. Yes,
That
sir.
is legit fact.
Legit fact. And those are my answer is Dalton. to that question, but those are two of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
I absolutely love Dirty Dancing. He actually got me a sealed copy of Dirty Dancing on VHS.
VHS, baby. That's a cassette tape that went in the VCR before you were born.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go home and talk to a real man who's your father, okay?
I'll tell you about the
And then
VCR.
I want you to ask him, Dad, who's tougher, Dalton from Roadhouse or Philo Beto, and see what the man says.
All right.
That's all I'm going to lay out there for you.
I'll report back tomorrow morning.
There we go.
I have faith that your father is going to say that Philo Beto is probably a tougher male.
All
Or
right.
at least he has a better set of morals.
I think your dad's probably going to tell you, quit hanging out with those guys you hung out with. That's what your dad's going to say. 100%.
Just like, I forgot all about Philo Beto.
You know what'd be funny? If you go, Dad, so what about, and he just smacks you across the face.
He might. He's slick, might. He's slick, might. I love you, Bob, but you're crazy.
Or he go, how old these fellas you were on the show with? What are they doing? Yeah, it'll be fine. Well, Joe, man,
That movie's before my time. Just for the record.
I think it was early. It was like 81, 82.
I think it was late 70s.
I think it was late
Was it?
70s also, the first one. The
Right. Yeah,
Very
it, could,
first
it
one.
was.
In
it's
Which Way You
old.
Can.
Which way but loose?
In which way but loose, and then any which way you can.
Yeah.
70s and early 80s.
So, Joe, man, appreciate you coming down, hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, go ahead and plug everybody, or plug and tell everybody where you can find your stuff, and if they want to work with you, how they get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Average Joe's stretching, all one word, 2 S's between Joe's and stretching on Instagram. If you guys want to DM me, also you can give me a call or a text at 865-719-0772. Would love to help you guys out. It's not me working on you, it's me and you working together, and I can't wait to, let you guys experience FST and make you feel better.
Heck yeah.
Sounds great, man. I'm going to do some
What was that
stretching.
number one more time? 865?
719-0772.
Boom. There you go. There you have it.
And if you have a structured settlement and you need cash now, call JG Wentworth, 877-CASH-NOW.
I'm ready to smoke some FTS.
That's for horses. Did you hear that part?
Ketamine, man.
Missed it.
Oh. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Say.
what did we say?
Say.
Oh, thanks for being here and doing what you do.
Sure.
Once again, Joe, thank you very much, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
I appreciate it, guys.
I holla.